Hello, Sacramento. Welcome to a candidate forum featuring candidates for Sacramento City Council District 8. I'm Paula Lee, a member of the League of Women Voters of Sacramento County and the moderator for today's forum. This forum is co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Sacramento County and the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission. The forum is being viewed live by an audience in the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors chambers and by a live cable television audience at home. It's also being taped for rebroadcast on Metro Cable Channel 14. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization of women and men. We're established to promote political responsibility through informed, active participation by citizens in government. The League does not support or oppose or evaluate any political candidates for office or political parties. Although our nonpartisanship does not permit endorsement of political candidates, we do, after very careful study, take positions on political issues. The format for today's forum will be as follows. Each candidate will have 1.5 minutes for opening remarks. Next, the candidates will respond to questions from our expert media panel. These questions were submitted by the panelists and reviewed by League members. Each candidate will have 1 minute to respond to each question. And then finally, the candidates will have 2 minutes to make a closing statement. Now I'd like to introduce the candidates who are running for District 8. Candidates, first one on my right, Bonnie Pinnell and Betty Williams. Welcome. And thank you. Thanks for agreeing to participate in this forum today. Sitting on our media panel are Foon Rhee from the Sacramento Bee, Cosmo Garvin from Sacramento News and Review, and Pia Lopez from the Sacramento Bee. And thank you for participating in the forum. Now we're ready to begin, and we'll begin with opening statements from Bonnie Pinnell.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Bonnie Pinnell, your Sacramento City Council member for District 8. I represent Meadowview, Parkway, and North Laguna Creek neighborhoods. District 8 was the second highest growth area in the city of Sacramento during the last 10 years. We eliminated Danger Island at Meadowview, Amherst, and Freeport, rehabbed the 29th Street apartments, eliminated Franklinville, now called Phoenix Park, built 9 new parks, 2 elementary schools, built a sports complex at Luther Burbank High School, Phase 1, built the River Cats Independence Field for disabled people, built a girls softball team at Manuel Silva Field, built 2,500 houses, condos, and apartments, rehab several major apartment complexes. We found reuses for the old Mervyn's, Albertsons, Targets, and Kmart. Built light rail phase 1 to Meadowview. Built a new Target shopping center. Built a new College Square shopping center. Built the Valley High North Laguna Library. Opened 3 Head Starts. We expanded Kaiser, Methodist, and Sierra Vista Hospital. Unemployment in District 8 is 21%, not 52%, which is still too high. Thank you.
Thank you. And Betty Williams.
Good afternoon, and thank you, League of Women Voters, for inviting me to speak today, and happy Mother's Day to all those mothers who are out there. My name is Betty Williams, and I'm asking for your vote on June 5th for City Council District 8. And I'm running because I have lived in the area for more than 20 years and raised my sons there. They've gone to Hiram Johnson and Burbank High School, and I believe there's a need because crime is high in my area. Crime is higher than most people think. Right now, because of the budget cuts, we cannot document the number of crimes that's in our area because we don't have police officers that can go to the burglaries that are out there right now, my home included. Attempted burglary, but yet I had to go on the internet to report it because we don't have police officers who can do that now. We also do. We have a high employment area in District 8. And if you look at the number of individuals who are unemployed on general assistance, on welfare, collectively, those are the documented unemployment issues. We're not talking about the people who have already just given up, who are not documented. So there's a huge issue in my district of people, more than 50%, not being employed. And then we have the education issue. 15 schools in my district, 10 of which are failing at the state level. That's 67% of our schools. I understand we have an educational school board that deals with those issues, but you cannot be silent as a city council person being responsible for your city. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, first question from Foon Rhee for Bonnie Pinnell.
Thanks. Mayor Johnson has inserted himself rather directly into this district campaign by publicly endorsing Ms. Williams and walking neighborhoods with her. So slightly different questions for the candidates. For Bonnie, if you're re-elected, how would you work with the mayor? And for Betty, if you're elected, how would you be independent of the mayor?
I have no problem with the mayor supporting Betty. It's a free country. We can support whoever we want to. I plan to continue working with Mayor Johnson like I've done in the past 4 years.
I have always been independent, and having a relationship with the mayor does not stop my independence. I plan on continuing to be independent, and with that being said, if there's something great for the city and for my district, I will absolutely support the mayor. However, if there's something that I disagree with that's not supportive of my district and the city, I will respectfully say no to him without a problem.
Cosmo, your question for Betty Williams.
Okay. Betty, can I ask you what your opinion was of the redistricting process that the City Council went through a few months back? Was there anything specific in that process that hurt District 8? And coming out of that, some people have called for a citizens redistricting commission. Wondering if you support that idea, how its members, how would that work?
I do support a redistricting commission, and in looking at the redistricting process, I totally disagree with the way the City Council acted in that process. They did not listen to the individuals that they put in place. They made decisions within 45 minutes that took a panel 2 months to discuss and investigate. They did not listen to over 800 individuals that came to council to discuss their concerns on why you would make such a rash decision. So by not listening to individuals that live in your district and that feed into your district, because individuals don't particularly live in District 8, doesn't mean they don't come to District 8 to give their tax dollars to District 8. So it was a missed opportunity for the City Council to listen to the people that we work for.
Bonnie Pinnell?
Yes, the redistricting process started 1 year ago. So everybody had an opportunity to be involved. My person I appointed was Grantland Johnson. The map that Oak Park presented to us had split the Med Center from Oak Park, which it never was in Oak Park. It's still there. It has not moved. The process was fair. I would vote the same way if it came back to us.
And Pia Lopez, your question for Bonnie Pinnell.
Bonnie, the two candidates have very different pictures of crime in your district. Can you both talk a little bit about what you see as the crime challenges in that district and what you specifically, if you're reelected or elected to the council, would do in the next 4 years to overcome those challenges?
I'm not sure where Ms. Williams get her stats from, but I meet monthly with my police captain, and crime is down. Matter of fact, auto theft is down 45%, burglary down 23%, business burglary down 7%, 7%, auto burglary down 34%. We have set up many neighborhood watches. We are dealing with gang. I supported the ceasefire model to deal with gang issues, so I'm not sure where she's got her stats from.
Betty Williams?
Thank you. I can tell you where I got my stats from. I got my stats from the same captain, Captain Snyder, where we met at a forum, where he emailed myself and CC'd Bonnie on the numbers that we received as far as burglaries and crime are not correct. Because of the cutbacks of law enforcement, they no longer can track the amount of crime. I got my stats from the city police that has a map that has red dots on them that shows the most crime areas in the city. District 8 has the most red dots. I got my information from the police themselves. When I was told when my own home in District 8 had an attempted burglary, I had to either go down to Freeport Center or apply online. That's where I got my stats from. So she got the same stats that I got because he made sure that she was CC'd on that email that said that the stats were incorrect. The first sentence of the 3-paragraph email that he sent us said that.
Funri, your question for Betty Williams?
Sure. Related to crime, the police department has suffered cutbacks in the last few years, like a lot of other departments, and it's projected to have even more layoffs this coming year. The city manager is proposing to avoid some of those cuts by requiring employees to pay more of their retirement costs. Do you agree with that? And if you were on the council, how would you handle collective bargaining with the unions?
How I would handle that, first we need to understand the history that police has already started concessions from the very beginning. They went to the table themselves and cut and brought it back to the city council, and they said, we understand we're in a budget crisis. We understand that we have to make concessions, and so they did that. And even though they made those concessions, they were still cut. And as far as the pension is concerned, I believe that we need to look at other labor organizations that didn't give concessions like police and fire. We need to start there first. I think pension is a discussion we absolutely need to have, and it needs to be on the table, but I don't think it's the first thing we need to look at when we look at law enforcement, especially with District 8 suffering the way it is.
Reducing pension is the only thing left to do. I started paying 7% in January. That's the only thing on the table to save jobs. I support pension reform.
Cosmo, next question for Bonnie Pinnell.
Okay. Bonnie, in the long term, we're going to have to see some economic growth. We're going to have to see more revenue, tax revenue coming into the city, either through growth or through tax measures. I mean, what specific ideas do you have to increase the revenue side of the picture for the city instead of just the cutting side of the picture?
Times are tough. I'm not sure how we grow our city. The arena was a major issue. It would have brought jobs. That's gone. We need business incubators, working with the chambers. We have a major project in Delta Shores that's going to bring jobs, many jobs. Working on Light Rail Phase 2, more jobs. So times are tough.
Betty Williams?
I think we have a missed opportunity if we don't look at our rivers. It can become a major economic force for not just District 8, but the city of Sacramento. I think we need to become a more business-friendly city, and in District 8. I think by becoming a more business-friendly, create more tax incentives for businesses to come to the city of Sacramento, especially District 8. I think we need to look at more partnering with our established private businesses to create more entrepreneurship to grow. So if I were to look at growing and creating a better or more incentives for an economic base for the city of Sacramento, especially District 8, I would look at the things such as the rivers. I would look at bringing in more of the corporations to create partnership, and I would look at tax incentives to become a more business-friendly and streamline the existing process we have so businesses will not go away.
Pia Lopez, your question for Betty Williams.
Betty, I'd like to follow up on the crime issue.
Sure.
As you pointed out, that district has the most red dots. And we are in a very constrained budget climate. What specifically in the next 4 years would you do to reduce the number of red dots in that district?
I think we need to work more with the community as far as with the police officers. Instead of continuing to cut, we need to start at the bargaining table before we get to the Tuesday night meetings and see what we can do to work together. I have a lot of faith-based working with me who wants to work with police as well and to educate the community on how to start even more crime alert programs for the neighborhoods. And I believe that in working with the community, the faith base, and the police officers, as well as the city manager and the mayor, that we can find a solution to decrease crime. Jobs is very important as well.
Bonnie Pinnell?
I support the Boston ceasefire model. It's working. They bring first-time offenders in and get them a job. I support working with ministers. They are walking the street currently on Mack Road. Mack Road Business Partnership has invested $70,000 on more security. We need jobs. That's the first thing we do. We need jobs, more jobs.
Foon Rhee, your question for Bonnie Pinnell.
Sure. So besides police protection, another service that residents notice quite a bit is garbage collection. The city has a plan to change the way that garbage is picked up by going to once every other week for recycling and requiring green waste containers and doing using the claw only during the fall leaf season. Do you agree with that plan? And if
I
not,
support the plan. I support that plan. Right now, the city of Sacramento, we're surrounded by the county and smaller cities that have no green waste on the streets. None whatsoever. And District 8 has 97% of all 3 cans.
Betty Williams?
With that plan, District 8 is suffering. When I knock on doors, besides crime and jobs, one of the things that they are mentioning to me is the amount of garbage and leaves and recycling that's not being picked up. And to reduce it would be a travesty for District 8. It's something that they are not engaged with if you are to ask them. So I'm not in agreement. I think we need to look at some other alternatives. I think we need to talk and look outside of the box because that's the type of person I am. We need to look at some other things, some additional things, especially with District 8 and the neighbors that I talk to. That's not something that they are looking forward to.
Cosmo, your question for Betty Williams.
For Betty? Okay. Betty, do you think Sacramento should approve a legally sanctioned safe ground camping area for the homeless population? If so, how do you think it should be implemented? And if not, how should we approach the problem of long-term homelessness?
I think I should answer the question by how we should approach the problem, because when you're looking at homelessness, you have to look at it in several different categories because you can't put it in one box. You have individuals that are dealing with mental health issues. You have individuals that are dealing with the economic issues that need to find home and jobs. And then you have individuals that simply want to live in the open air. And I know this because working with the census for the past year, I visited those homeless camps. And so I think we need to get more engaged in putting the individuals who want work to do job development, which is something that I've been engaged in doing for the past 20 years. I'm a staffing director, and I've created that. And so we need to deal with that. We need to deal with the homeless mental health issues in a separate category before you can address anything else. And as far as having land developed for the homeless, I don't think that's a bad idea.
Bonnie Pinnell?
I don't support campgrounds. I support people living in houses. I think campgrounds are substandard. So we need to find houses for those people.
Pia Lopez, your question for Bonnie Pinnell.
Bonnie, one of the issues in your district is keeping kids in school and keeping them engaged when they're outside of school, whether it's jobs, whether it's after-school programs, whether it's pools, whether it's libraries. What can a city council member do to keep kids in school and keep them occupied outside of school in District 8?
That's a tough issue. We support parents. I support the parents, the schools, to have programs. I work with Diana Rodriguez with the Sac City School District. She's the board member. We need more programs, more programs.
Betty Williams?
I think we need to partner more with vocational schools that are in our area, such as the One Stop, the SETAs. They have programs right now for summer training, vocational training. I think we also need to partner with the CET program, the Career Educational Training program that I sit on the board, which also is teaching green jobs. They have ongoing programs year-round. I think those vocational schools and training programs need to partner with the school districts so we can educate our community, our family, and our kids on what's out there. I don't think we've done a good enough job by educating our community of what we have available throughout the summer for vocational training for livable jobs.
Foon-Rhee, your question for Betty Williams.
Sure. So on July 1st, city water and sewer rates are going to go up by double-digit percentages to help fund a $260 million or so program of infrastructure improvements, including the water treatment plant on the Sacramento River. But there are obviously a lot of homeowners and businesses that are struggling right now. Do you think the time is right for the to increase water and sewer rates?
I think at this time we have no choice. I think throughout the course of the years of existing city council had opportunities to change that course, and it didn't. Unfortunately, we're at the crossroads where we have absolutely no choice but to raise the rates. If we would have been a smarter city council where we could have looked ahead and thought outside the box, I think we would not be here right now. But right now is where we are because of the past.
You know, we depend on staff to tell us when we need increases. For the last 5 years, maybe 7 years, our fees have gone up. No one has said anything about infrastructure. So I voted against the issue increase. Now it's not the time. People are hurting. They need jobs. They need jobs.
Cosmo, this will be the last question for Bonnie Pinnell.
Bonnie, earlier you mentioned the sports and entertainment complex. I'm wondering, though, if there are other amenities. What other amenity do you think we're missing here in the city of Sacramento, and how do we get it?
the intermodal. We need to build the intermodal, which I support.
Okay.
Okay?
Betty Williams?
The other amenities, I believe, as I mentioned before, we have prime property around the two rivers that we have, and we're not using them as much as I feel that we should be using them. We have Kaiser Hospital, that's an opportunity that we have not used to its fullest ability. I'm in the market of creating jobs and working with corporations, and I know that the top three areas as far as job growth is healthcare, IT, and finance. And so since we have the med centers and we have Kaiser in the district of District 8, why aren't we using to build out more? So I think it's an opportunity as far as District 8 is concerned to use it to build upon.
Okay, and now we move to closing remarks, and we'll begin with Bonnie Pinnell.
Thank you. Thank you all for doing this one more time, every year. The total investment in District 8 was, in the last 10 years, was $1 billion. Total output, $2 billion. Total income, $1 billion. Total employment, $14,769. Total state and local taxes, $98 million. District 8 has had many jobs. I think we've held up the city of Sacramento. I'm running for election because I have two major projects that I've been working on for 10 years. That is Southline Phase 2 and Delta Shores. We have 40 acres around Meadowview and Bruceville Light Rail Station. We have several projects on Bruceville and Sheldon Road in the works. I have so much support, I cannot name all these people, starting with all the presidents in District 8. So I need your support one more time, 4 years, one more time, to finish what I've started. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and Betty Williams?
Again, I am Betty Williams. I am asking for your vote on June 5th for District Council City for District 8. I believe I am the person for you with fresh ideas, bold ideas that will help make your county and your city and the district safer than what it is right now. I believe that because I used to be a business owner and my experience with working with corporations and job development, I can bring in more jobs that you can have livable wages. I can work with schools and working with vocationals in making them a partner so that our kids will get a better education and support the educational system. I am a person that thinks outside of the box, that understands that we need a more friendly environment for businesses and will streamline a process. I will speak with each and every city council person once I'm elected because I believe you need to hear from me, but more importantly, I need to listen to you. And that's what I've been hearing throughout the district. They want someone fresh, experienced with new innovation ideas that bring in new businesses, and someone that listens to them. And Betty Williams is the person that will listen to you on June 5th once you vote. Thank you.
Thank you. And on behalf of the League of Women Voters of Sacramento County and the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission, I thank the candidates, Bonnie Pinnell and Betty Williams, and our panelists, Foon Rhee and Pia Lopez from the Sacramento Bee and Cosmo Garvin from the Sacramento News and Review for participating today. Also like to thank the volunteers who made this forum possible. The forum has been designed to impart information to you, the voter, in accordance with our belief that a good government depends upon informed and active participation by its citizens. We hope the insights that you have gained from this forum will help you make a decision. For voter information and for information about the rebroadcast of this forum and the other forums, please visit the League's Smart Voter website, and that's smartvoter.org. Or you can get the information from the League of Women Voters Sacramento County website, which is lwvsacramento.org. The League welcomes both women and men as members, and the League is where hands-on work to safeguard democracy leads to civic improvement. Thank you.